AITA if I recorded a bus driver to his company after he got off his official route to drive his friend home. All right, Danny, you can take it away now.
So I, 20F. I like how this episode has no fat. We're just going right for it. No, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's just go, people. That's the vibe. Coronavirus is coming, so we might as well just do this damn thing.
Danny.
So I, 20F, my parents and 2 other families decided to go on a week-long spa vacation to the Italian part of the Alps. Good God.
Why is that good God?
Because it's just like, first of all, you could have just said week-long spa vacation. I'd be like, ya bougie.
Yeah, I'd be like, you're the asshole.
Italian part, what? The Alps. Whoa, there's so many things going on here. You could have just said the Alps, right? Anyway.
I guess.
Well,
I actually think the Italian part is going to be important later on.
We need it.
Let's keep it going.
As heck. One day, part of our group decided to do a bit of sightseeing, me included, and took a bus to the nearest city. The bus ride took about 20 minutes. On our way back, our bus driver was a young man. Sorry, on our was back. I think they meant to say way, and they made a typo. Yeah, on their ways there and back, their bus driver was a young man, probably in his mid-20s. One stop after we got on, 2 young men, also mid-20s, got on who clearly were very good friends with the bus driver. After a few stops, the bus driver asked us where we wanted to get off. We told him our stop, and then he got back to talking to his friends. Then something strange happened. The bus got off its official route. At first we didn't notice, but after some time we realized this wasn't the way back to our hotel. After some time, the bus stopped in the middle of nowhere, right in front of a house. No official bus stop in sight. The first friend got off. Then we realized the bus driver was driving his friends home. My mom asked him if he was still driving us to our hotel bus stop. The driver assured us that this was the right bus. We then proceeded to actually head in the right direction back to our hotel, but then we again took the quote-unquote wrong turn, and the driver dropped his second friend off at his house. After that, he finally drove us to our hotel. This time, our bus ride back took 40 instead of the previous 20 minutes. We were furious. Clearly, the bus driver thought that we as tourists wouldn't notice the detour. So now we are debating on whether or not we should call the boss/manager of this bus company. So would I be the asshole if I complained, or would that be too much of a Karen move?
Danny, you love a good review. What's your take right now? I
have to say, I did read a lot of the comments, and I've been chewing on this. And overall, I think that this is a weird one. You would be an asshole for wasting your time. It would be so thoroughly unproductive for you to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to annoy your spouse who doesn't care, and you're going to waste part of your
20.
life. Whatever.
I guess she could. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, she's 20. Yeah. You're going to annoy your boyfriend or your parents or whatever. It's like you're going to waste your energy, your vibe on this call that I guarantee you will do nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing. Well, no, because it's Italy. Okay, I was about to say it would be one thing if it was like a city bus that was doing this craziness, but this sounds to be like a private kind of bus charter or something like, so you're calling the boss/manager. But then I was like, that would actually be even worse if you tried to complain about like a public funded bus, because like Italy's pretty corrupt and they just would not give a shit. They'd probably like throw you in jail and accuse you of murdering your study abroad roommate if you complained.
Yeah, I mean, if this happened to me in the United States, I would say something. I would ding them on Yelp. I don't know that I would
You
call.
would ding the MTA on Yelp?
Yeah, I would just ding them on Yelp. You know, I'm dinging. I threw a very light ding recently, actually.
Ooh, do tell.
Well, I did the old sensory deprivation tank. You ever hear about this, Sarah?
No. Yeah.
Pitch black, silent room. You lay down in 10 inches of water. The water has 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt in the water.
You're floating on it?
You're floating on it, and that's exactly what it's called. Floating is what they like to call it.
Yes.
And it's pitch black, and there's nothing going on. You just sit there and you lie there with your own thoughts, and it's
that sounds like how you'd get like. That sounds like what I would feel like right before I probably got murdered via drowning.
I did.
Jesus.
Well, you really could not drown in this unless you really tried. I mean, it's 10 inches of water.
That's comforting.
It's a kiddie pool.
For some reason, when you said 10 inches, I was picturing 10 feet. And I was like, geez, that sounds scary.
Yeah, no, 10 inches is very small.
Okay.
Or very big, depending on what you're talking about. So anyway, look, there was a sound. There was a small, tiny sound in my sensory.
What was it? Wait, that's very annoying.
Exactly. It was the classic sound of electrical hum. And I was very nice. I don't know why I felt the need to be nice. You know why? Because it was cheap. It was so much cheaper than New York. And that's why I did this in Philadelphia.
How much did you pay?
It was $70 for 90 minutes.
That's cheap to be alone with your thoughts in the dark?
It's really expensive here.
Oh my God. You can do that for free.
It's $80 here for 60 minutes, but that's in like some guy in Chelsea's apartment. I think I might do it though.
Danny, please bring a like, I don't know, buddy, or at least share your location with someone before you go there.
I'll share my location with you.
Okay, please.
So look, but I dinged him. I gave him 3 stars, and I should have gone harder, and I might actually change it now because it's making me angry.
You should have gone harder. Okay.
I wish I'd given them 2 stars because that's unacceptable. It's a sensory deprivation tank, and you had a sense in there ringing.
So here's a question: did you tell them when you got
Yes.
out, and what'd they say?
She said, I'll look into it, and I was
Did
like,
they like apologize?
no. Didn't
That's
apologize.
like annoying.
I could have thrown a fit about it. I also could have gotten up during it. I thought about doing that, and I was like, well, that defeats the whole purpose. I'm here trying to be meditative and not complaining.
Yeah, I guess the purpose is defeated also, like, if all you can focus on is this buzzing noise.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to focus on other things, and it was periodic. It probably only lasted a total of 15 minutes, but... anyway, one other side note, I just never addressed this on a previous pod, so if you're a dedicated listener, I use this word confidence, which is not a word, and I'm so embarrassed. I thought it was a good term. I thought it made a lot of sense. Did it make sense to you?
Yeah, like when you're confiding in someone?
Yeah, when you're confiding in someone, you're sharing a confidence, and then one day, I don't know why, I Googled it, and it's totally not a word. Like,
oh, no.
No one's ever said it.
Oh,
I made it up.
You made it up. What's the real word?
I think I got it from contrivance, which is
God.
a very similar word. And so I thought, well, if contrivances are things, then confidences
Confidence
are things.
is a word. Confidant is a word. You think that
confidant.
But a confidant is a person you tell your confidence to.
So you can confide to a confidant, but you can't.
No, confidant. You can confide to a confidant.
Is it confidant?
Yes.
Not confidant?
Yes.
Confidant.
Yes.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of French.
Sounds fancy.
Wow. So you confide to a confidant, but you can't confide a confidence to
I
a
suppose
confidant.
not.
Because that makes no sense. What is that, an alien?
Isn't a word.
Who told you that?
I know. I feel like I've definitely done that before. I've like conflated words and then later been like, what?
Yeah.
And just hope no one calls me on it. And then I think about it for the next 62 years.
There is a word for that. Neologism.
Anxiety?
Oh, no. Yeah, anxiety for that other part. Neologism. Yeah, it's like a novel word. Well, it's mainly used with like psychotics who make up lots of words. See, if you make up one word in a sentence, people are like, that kind of flew.
Yeah.
But if you make up 4, people are like, that's no good.
No.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. My favorite is like when you make a word by accident and then your friends never let you forget it.
Oh, yeah.
One time on my other podcast, my co-host said, instead of discombobulated, he said conjobulated.
Conjobulated.
That's a classic. We say it every day now.
Kyrie E writes, file this under cultural differences and keep your mouth shut. The economy of rural places relies on capitalist care and money. I don't know why I like that so much.
I know, that's so harsh but funny.
You're a guest in their town, so unless they stole or force you to miss a commitment, being late because of locals being neighborly just comes with the territory. And ultimately, I do agree that it comes with the European vibe. So
they don't give a single shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do think it is a little rude. It's still rude. I don't think that I'm going to let off the bus driver. I think it's a little bit disrespectful.
I think, though, like, I'm trying to approach this from, like, cultural relevance, and, like, it's only rude to us as Americans. So
I completely disagree. He would never do this to someone who spoke whatever language they speak.
I mean, you don't know that,
Italian.
and there's, like, a ton of whatever language they speak.
No,
you don't really know
Sarah.
that.
He wouldn't, because he would know that they'd be like, excuse me, what are you doing? Right away, right?
No, I don't think you know that.
He did it because he could get away with it.
No,
Oh,
Italians don't give a fuck about anything.
Well, whatever.
I think they don't have this, like, need to be on time all the time. And so, like, I don't really think that.
I think it's disrespectful. Forget I'm on time. If I got in your bus and I'm like, where are you going? I know the way. This is the wrong way. I feel like they would be called out. Are Italians passive?
It's disrespectful, like, according to our culture.
Our culture of what? Getting on a bus and going to the fuck where the bus goes?
Of being like, I need to go in this direct route and I need to get there in exactly 20 minutes. And the fact that this took 20 extra minutes is a huge inconvenience to me, and I'm going to complain.
Like, hey, mamma mia, go wherever, do whatever, and we'll get there when we get there.
Yes, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
That's
I
crazy.
feel like Israelis are like that too. They're always so late. They're so late. I went to camp with like a huge Israeli staff population for like 10 years. And finally I asked one of my friends and I was like, what's the fucking deal? Like, why are you guys always so late? And they're just like, well, when you spend like 3 years in the army and you get out of the army and you don't have to be punctual all the time, you just kind of like
you're late.
Live.
I mean, Hispanics are notoriously late, but honestly, lateness to me, it isn't funny. It isn't cute. It's just disrespectful and annoying.
I don't like
and
it
unprofessional.
either. I mean, I don't like it either.
10 minutes is fine. 10 minutes is fine.
But 20 minutes?
20 is starting to get like...
I think 10 minutes is like a traditional like New York / adult buffer. Like things happen outside of your control within 10 minutes. Now, am I always 10 minutes early because I'm a psychopath? Yes.
No. Oh, really? Nice.
I mean, except for this fucking podcast because the MTA always tries me every day.
Yeah, because the trains.
But usually, like, if I have, like, let's say if I'm going somewhere on a weekend or something, I give myself an hour to get there, even though I know it's going to take probably 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could go... It's also how you approach it, right? Like, if you're running 20 minutes late and you're on top of it and you're like, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm 20 minutes late, no problem.
Yeah, you just have to tell people.
Yeah, that's when I start to get angry. If someone shows up 20 minutes late and you're like, you didn't text, you did nothing for me.
Or the worst thing, this is my number one pet peeve, is like when you make a reservation and people still treat it as if it's a suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this was the entire point. If I was like, come here in this vicinity, I wouldn't have made a fucking reservation.
Right.
Now we can't even sit because of you because this restaurant has this stupid policy anyway. Sorry, now I'm getting worked up.
Sheer craziness.
Sheer craziness.
Second top comment, Kyrie E writes, file this under culture. Oh, I already read this.
Yes.
Roman E, total Karen move. I love the amount of Karens that got thrown in this thread. You have money to take week-long spa vacations in the Alps. Please stop complaining about anything ever. Sincerely, everyone.
I mean, listen, I complain about things all the time. My life is pretty good.
Yeah, this is poor person shit, but let me just finish Roman's story and then I'll complain about the logic. Roman's comment was then attacked because he technically doesn't represent everyone because he signed that everyone, like he was writing a letter, sincerely everyone.
I'm sorry.
And so then him and this girl had this little aside that really wasn't interesting, but then he called the attackers, the people attacking him, Becky's defending Karens.
That's hilarious. People really were like, oh no, I'm not everyone, don't let me in your hypothetical
like,
letter.
okay.
People really got mad about it. Oh my God.
They were like, I speak for everyone because...
That's actually so obnoxious.
No, so I do think, though, you do hear people say this. Like, don't complain, Danny. Don't tell the manager. Don't say anything. I used to have a friend who was like this. He would, if they gave him... There was a fucking wig in his burrito. He's like, oh,
it adds flavor.
And it's like...
And fiber.
You deserve to get what you paid for. And I actually think that is an American thing. And you're right, because we were just talking on the bonus episode, which you guys should totally get on.
Yeah, subscribe to the Patreon.
Patreon.com/AITA pod. Is that, look, Americans do treat customer service people like shit. We definitely go too far with it. But on the other hand, we expect to get what we pay for. And everyone, don't be one of these MFers with internalized unassertiveness. Tell the manager what you want if you didn't get it.
Yeah, I think in this instance, they shouldn't, because it's like, okay, you're with your family. You asked the bus driver what was going on. He assured you that it was like the right thing. Yeah, he's doing things off the books, but ultimately it didn't really cause like a great inconvenience to your life. If she was alone, honestly, I would say complain, just because I think that could be pretty scary.
That would be scary.
Yeah, to have two strange men get on the bus and then the bus driver is taking you off the route. Yeah, maybe it would be worth saying something, or even just saying to the bus driver at the end, like, hey, what the hell was that about?
It's like the movie Hostel at that point.
Yeah. But like, ultimately, I also think you'd probably spend way longer trying to even articulate this grievance to these people who clearly don't care.
Right.
Than you would have spent. So, yeah.
They won't care. Autumn S writes, Karen, how much time, and we got a record level of Karens here.
So many Karens.
Karen, how much time have you spent vishing and sharing the story where 20 minutes is all you lost and you were riding around in a foreign country on a bus on your way back to the spa while someone is doing their job? Well, they kind of weren't doing their job, Autumn, because dropping off their friends isn't their job. Samantha M writes, NTA, that's weird and potentially very dangerous in a foreign country. And I'm like, Sarah,
it's the fucking Italian
they're
Alps.
in the
Calm
Alps.
down.
Worst case scenario is someone is leaving with an impractical timeshare. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, no, I know. You're not like, I don't know.
So a lot of people are spinning cultural differences. Sarah, I feel like that's where you're landing right now. That is where I'm landing. Emma N says, YTA, you're in Europe where people take care of each other and they hit each other up for rides. I don't necessarily think that's what this is about because people in America do that too. I think there is this chill, this kind of like, whatever happened, it's Europe, baby. So that's how we do.
With like a vaguely Jamaican accent or something.
Look, my accents aren't on point.
Yeah, I'm not like, I'm just saying, like, I think from our perspective, it's rude and unacceptable, but the way that they would see it is they probably wouldn't care.
I mean, I'm struggling a little bit. I did deep dive on Reddit to support this. Naeem writes, I was traveling to Thailand and there were several times the tuk-tuk drivers took me to their house before taking me to my final location. One guy even picked up his daughter and dropped her off at school. In Poland, a bus made an unofficial detour to pick up people at an unmarked bus stop, not on the route. Nobody seemed to mind on the bus. Lore99 writes, I'm from the Mediterranean and we are so chill about everything. We have a decent bus system, but in summer we have lots of street feasts, which completely changes bus routes, but the bus driver never tells you he's changing the route. So I guess
honestly, I think the Reddit, like I would recommend you guys read the Reddit thread because it really did give a lot of insight. I think we take for granted that everyone on Reddit is American.
Yeah,
but
that's not true.
Yeah, a lot of these issues do come down to cultural differences that we just don't understand.
Rakit 100, you would be the asshole. That's just Italy. Relax and enjoy your holiday. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and back this up here. I went to Europe recently, and this is what I kind of wrote about this for the most part. I agree with OP, but complaining is a no-go. I had 2 complaints for a hotel in Amsterdam, and they were non-responsive to both. And it was a nice hotel, Sarah. It was I think it was a 5-star hotel. It was really nice.
Are you serious, Dan?
Yeah, it's called Small Luxury Hotels. Danny loves it because they're small and luxury and you know, and they're super nice and intimate. So the first complaint I had is I took a space brownie. So I was high AF, deeply unpleasant.
Okay.
I was freaking the heck out.
Sounds like a you problem so far.
Huge me problem, not on the hotel there. But I wanted water. Perfectly normal thing to want in the hotel room.
As you tend to do when you're high.
Yeah, exactly. I go to the faucet and it looks like it's scratched and then it's been made brown. So I was like, oh.
What do you mean? Like someone took a marker?
Not a marker, but like something rough and just made it brown. I think it was just rust, but it kind of looked like a marking rather than rust.
Okay, you were high, so it was probably rust.
It didn't look rusty though, because it was like kind of platinum looking. Look, bottom line is I did complain about the faucet.
Do you think like maybe the coating had worn off?
No, to me it looked like someone was I don't know how Europe works, and Danny had told me that in France you can't drink the water.
No, that's absolutely not true.
That's not true?
At least I hope it's not true.
No, you're dying.
I think I bought a lot of bottled water just because I am picky about tap water, but no, they never told us we couldn't drink it. And at restaurants all the time, I'd get tap water.
I thought she said you really couldn't. Anyway, I had that in my head. But look, the faucet looked like shit. If I had gone to a Motel 6, and I have gone to a Motel 6, people, well, where else are you going to meet the people you buy online? But listen.
Oh, God.
Sorry. No, because I got to a Motel 6, and I would expect them to have a clean-looking faucet. It was a dirty-looking faucet, and I pointed it out to them. And I said, hey, I literally thought I couldn't drink from this. It looks bad. And they were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. And I was like, okay, fine. And then my girlfriend wasn't really on board for this, kind of like, you're not on board right now.
I'm like,
that's fair.
Okay.
There was also a stair that was, okay, so there was like a stairwell.
Yeah.
And all the stairs are the same height except one, the first one. And there was no sign or no indication. And I was like, that's how people trip. You need to know that one of the stairs is a different height. You make a sign that shows that. That way people know and they don't fall. It's very dangerous.
Okay.
And I told them that, and I'm 100% serious. I was like, showed him the stair. I actually used my phone to show, like, see, this one is shorter. And he said nothing.
He just stared at you blankly?
He didn't even stare at me. He just kind of went, just kind of nodded and then just walked away. And I was like, I guess that's it.
That's so fucking funny.
And from that, I have interpreted that the culture in Europe is different. It's unacceptable. Yep. It's the old world. I think it's beautiful. But, like, I'm sorry, that's not up to code. We have codes in America.
Oh my God. Yeah. They don't have code. They're just like, is it crumbling? Yeah. It's leaning over. All right. We'll make it a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Like,
They'll call it a leaning tower.
wait, but also I wanted to ask, because didn't you have that hotel that was like Danny's brother got upgraded to the suite instead of her, and you sent them that like passive aggressive email that laid all your cards on the table? What happened with that?
Yeah, so the drama was at this hotel.
Was it this Amsterdam hotel?
No, it was a London hotel. They charged her brother like $2,000.
Right.
Because they assumed that my girlfriend was his wife. Which does haunt me a little bit because they're similar age, and then my girlfriend has referred to me as his name before, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't
my mom calls my brother Ira by accident sometimes. It's
That's
like, whatever.
weird. Your mom calls your brother your dad's
like by
name?
accident. Your parents have never mixed up you and your brother's names? That seems...
They mix up my brother's name and mine, but not the dad. Isn't your dad's name?
Your mom's never mixed up?
My dad, my mom has never called me my dad's name. No.
Not by accident?
No. I mean, she's called me daddy, but never.
Get out of here!
Wow, that really upset you. But anyway, oh yeah, so where that settled? Well, my girlfriend got really worked up about it. And see, that's the thing, people, that I'm trying to spread this message. I'm trying to coin yet another phrase. I don't think it's ready to go, but it's the power of doing nothing. And some people don't realize that it is a power, because
I feel like you're one of those people. Keep going.
Well, sometimes, look.
I feel like you over Yelp and maybe I under Yelp.
Well, yelping can be okay.
I just mean Yelp in the sense of like complaining.
No. Well, I don't think Yelping is pretty close to doing nothing, right? Because when you put up a Yelp, you're dinging them. You are building into an average. You're supporting this kind of number that this business is going to have, right?
Okay.
Some people use those numbers. Great. That is a very low profile thing. I'm talking about starting an interaction, right? Like if you're going to complain to this Italian bus company, like it's going to be a whole thing. You know, are you going to start a war with them? What are you going to do?
Right. They're literally going to be like, you'll call them and you'll be like, hey, my bus driver picked up two of his friends and then spent an extra 20 minutes dropping them off at their houses.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, oh, okay. Did you get to where you're going?
Right.
And then she'll say, yeah, but, and then they'll be like, okay, then there's no problem here. And then that'll be it.
Right. And then you'll be mad and you'll be worked up about it and you'll be angry all day. Potentially.
I know. It's this random bus company in the Italian Alps. Like, what do they care about their SEO? Like, what are they?
Right,
I mean, even if you go full Danny Vega on them, like, they're not going to care.
That's what I'm trying to say, though, is there's a time to go full Danny Vega, and that is with online companies. Absolutely. If they mess you over, if someone really does you wrong, then do it. But there are other times when it's like, look, you lost 20 minutes on this bus ride, Karen. Do you want to lose another 20 minutes? Do you want to lose a whole day being mad about it or starting a social media war or whatever? Because when I leave a Yelp, to me, that's like, boom, I left it. I said what I said. I'm out.
Right.
But if I were to email the place, then it's a whole thing. Then they're going to reply. You know, you could have a comment thread. You don't want to get into that.
Wait, but so sorry. What did happen with that hotel?
Well, what happened is that my girlfriend got super worked up about it, and I had to like ban it from conversation.
Oh my God.
Because she was just having these protracted email threads, and I was like, look, it's a nice hotel. I'm pretty sure it's going to work itself out. It's like insulting, and that's it. You know, and actually I had some issues with that hotel too, but that's another story.
Damn. But did they refund your brother? They upgraded you guys to the room and everything?
Yeah, we got an upgrade.
All right, whatever.
They made it up to us. They did a good job. The thing is,
like, with these types of people, like hotels, flight attendants, I can't think of another example. If you're just nice to them, like, they're probably going to give you what you want.
That's why I try to tell her.
If you start a fight, they're going to dig their heels in.
That's why I always try to tell the customer service person, I know it's not your fault. I know it's your stupid company and their stupid policies. You're my friend. We're going to work through this together. And if we don't, you can tell your manager that I will bring you down.
Oh, my God.
That's my vibe.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I think that's enough on this freaking Karen-y thing. I'm not going to call anyone an asshole here. I think this would be a waste of time. I've been convinced. Actually, no.
She'd be the asshole if she started shit about it.
I'm going to assume that this truly is culturally acceptable. And that is the only reason I'm going to be able to say AITA, if I reported a bus driver to his company after he got off his official route to drive his friend home, I will say no assholes here. But under the assumption that he would also do this to other Italian people.
The question is, would she be the asshole if she complained? And the answer is yeah.
No, she wouldn't be an asshole if she complained. She'd be stupid, but she wouldn't be an asshole. She has a right to complain. It's ridiculous.
I mean, you have a right to complain.
Yeah, well, she's not hurting anyone by saying complaining. And if you're telling me if what you're saying is right,
It's
then
like you'd be the Karen. Don't be the
yeah,
Karen.
you'd be a slight Karen, but you're just making a call. You're not, who cares?
You'd be the Karen.
You'd be the Karen.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.